Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. So there is something that we all are guilty of, something that we all have done at some point of our lives, especially when things have not been so good, especially when we have been struggling, and especially when things around us have been chaotic. It's complaining. I think we're all guilty of it. So what is complaining? Complaining is when somebody is just cribbing and talking about all the negative things that are happening in their life. Now, to some extent, we all need to vent, especially to people around us, people who care about us, and it does help. It does help when we're able to put our feelings into words. We talk about our experiences or the negative aspects of our life to people around us, and it kind of helps us gain perspective. And then we are able to move on to the problem solving stage of a situation or a problem. But sometimes, actually a lot of times, it happens that people stay stuck in the complaining mood. They'll keep complaining about everything. Of course, things that are happening in their life might be difficult and negative, and that doesn't help, but they will just keep complaining and complaining. What's the truth behind it? Complaining is actually a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism for people who did not have the opportunity to develop the adult within who can offer the validation or the soothing necessary. Because there is nobody else who can carry the emotional baggage for us, who can help us emotionally other than ourselves. Often what happens that as children, if our primary caregivers are unable to meet our needs emotionally, are unable to make us feel heard, make us feel seen, make us feel validated, our emotions, our needs, then we grow into adults who have these needs that are unmet, who have this desire to be seen and validated, and this becomes one of the ways where we get it. Because what do complainers get the most is attention and validation. Because in some way what they are saying is true. If somebody is having health issues or financial issues, it is a truth of their life. So they are saying what they are speaking is the truth, and yet complaining about it only kind of exacerbates the situation. Why? Because you're not able to move on to the problem solving mode, because you're getting the attention and the sympathy from other people and you want to stay in that bubble. The negative affects of complaining, the first thing is that it kind of shrinks the hippocampus. Now, hippocampus is the area, the center of learning. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, CPTSD, they already affect it. If you add complaining to it, then it only makes it worse. So it shrinks the hippocampus, the area, the center for learning in the brain. Also, it kind of starts to rewire the brain for negativity. It kind of rewires the brain for negative thinking and as well as negative speech. So much so that you start looking for negativity around you. And another thing that it does is it kind of takes you away from problem solving mode, because to get into that mode you'll have to become the adult you need to be. You have to kind of understand that as much as the situation is not what I want to be, I am the one who's responsible to change it. I do have some agency, I do have some power in this situation. Complaining is a way to abdicate that power or that agency over our life. And complaining is a habit that fulfills a very core need of every human being, of being seen and being heard. It does. And that is why almost all of us resort to it at some point of time or another. Only for some people it just kind of becomes a bit more, to the extent where it starts to impact their life, where it starts to impact them socially, because the same people you want attention from, you want love from, you want validation from, will start to pull back. As you complain, they'll start to pull back more, because the truth is, it is no one's responsibility but ourselves to take control of our emotional health, to develop a sense of self that can help us navigate through these times. It is a bit difficult, especially because if you don't have tools, if you have not had that behavior modeled by grown-ups, by adults around you as a child growing up, it is super difficult. And that is why most people resort to the easy thing, that is complaining. And as difficult as it is, one step at a time, it might be a good idea to just notice how you feel when you complain. So there are two ways to look at it. One is to allow yourself to feel upset internally. If things are not going the way they are, instead of expecting other people to validate that, we can choose to validate our own experiences. Once we start doing that, it will kind of settle in that we can perhaps do something about it. And that is when we can move into the problem solving mode, at least explore ideas, solutions, answers. The brain doesn't go into the complete shutdown mode. So just something different for you to think about today. And thank you so much for taking the time and watching the video, and I'll see you soon.